Anyways, today I wanted to talk about time lapses. Not necessarily. Hey guys, Chris at Tech. How's it going tonight? Today I wanted to talk about time lapses. In particular, how to kind of spruce it up a little bit, basically using a digital pan. People think you gotta order like one of those expensive sliders. If you have the ability to shoot at different resolutions with your camera and you can shoot a time lapse, I think you're well better off. What I'm gonna introduce you guys today is how to simulate a panning effect without the use of one of those egg timers or sliders. Obviously, if you have one of those, great, but if you don't, like myself, then you can kind of just shimmy it in post. I used the GoPro Hero 4 Black and I shot us putting up the Christmas tree. The settings are I shot every second, auto ISO, auto, pretty much everything auto except for the time lapse mode. The time lapse I did as not individual pictures but continuous interval shot, taking pictures again every second and a resolution of 4K. I'm gonna go into more into that why I use 4K. You can use 2.7K as well. Again, the resolution just helps you with the digital panning, meaning from left to right. And then I'm just going to be editing on iMovie. It makes everything really easy. Let's just dive into the demonstration. So I'm just going to go over how we did that Christmas tree time lapse. So the trick is you have to shoot at something higher resolution, and then the film that you're going to be creating, create a timeline in a lower resolution. Does that make sense? Let's get started. All right, so this is iMovie here. I've already uploaded some files. And if you guys are curious what iMovie I'm using, it's version 10.1.1. I know there's a newer one out. I haven't updated yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously create a new project. So I'm going to click the plus button up here. And then I'm going to pick no theme. And I'm going to say time-lapse test. This is a new timeline. How iMovie works is that you cannot select what output the film will be going at. But in a nutshell, essentially you need a file that is either representative of the one that you want to output. So I want to output in 1080p, 24 frames per second. I already luckily have one file right here. I'm going to include this in the link below as far as having access to these different files. One is 24 frames per second, the other one is going to be 30 frames per second. So I want 23.98, and I already know that this file is at 1080p. So I'm just going to add that by clicking the plus button here. By doing this, it means that whatever I paste in here, the timeline is going to be at 24 frames per second. And what I normally do is build whatever sequence I'm going to do. And then once I'm done with the sequence, then I can delete this first part here, and the whole rest of the timeline will remain at 24 frames per second. As a sample, I just wanted to show you guys just a regular footage that I have. So it's been raining in Hilo. I'm going to take roughly, I'm just going to highlight about 5 seconds here, and this is what you guys see, right? Plain Jane. From this, I just wanted to show you guys the basic concept of digital panning. There's this button right up here, this little square thing. This is basically the crop, but what you want to do is Ken Burns. I know that's a photo term, but it's as simple as this, right? This is where iMovie makes it really easy. It already has keyframes. So basically from the beginning and at the end of this timeline, you don't have to necessarily know where, but basically start means it's automatically keyed in with the beginning of this, and end is the end of this. What you can do is just technically just shrink this. That's what I do. Start, and then end, I'm gonna shrink it as well, and I'm gonna pull it all the way across, and I'm gonna make sure that the lines are the same. What you can see is it cropped in, and this is just a simple digital pan. Again, this is nothing too impressive when you're dealing with lifetime regular videos. That's essentially what I do to create my hyper lapses. So the key thing here is make sure you're on a tripod or some stable feature, shooting at high 4K or shooting at some high resolution. Let's take an actual time lapse. And this is what's going on here. This is shot at I think every second, and it ended up with 2 minutes long. I try to keep my time lapses relatively short. I'm just going to increase the speed here until this is about 30 seconds long. This is about 2 minutes, so let's increase the speed by clicking this one, and I go to fast or custom. I want to say 800% just for fun. Okay, reduce this to 15 seconds from 2 minutes automatically, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I look all herky-jerky. It's jerky just because this is shot at 4K, and my computer can't handle that well. What I want to do next is, because this is shot in 4K and this is a 1080p timeline, the next thing would be, without losing that much resolution because it's 1080p, I can now crop this. I'm going to shrink this down. To start again, and you can go as small as a fourth. Because this is shot in 4K, I won't lose, it's going to output in 1080p. So I can, without losing too much resolution, I can go down to a fourth of these. It's rendering right now and it's going really slow across. And it's doing basically a virtual digital pan. And then, if you want to adjust the height, since I just want to primarily focus on the tree. I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit, and then, yep, I'm trying to frame for the tree, so it's going left to right. And it looks like I passed the tree, so basically, this is nice. The great thing about this is that you can frame what you want. So at the end, I just want to focus on the tree, not what's happening at the end. So to start, this box is gonna start here, and then it's gonna end, and I want to end with the tree here on the left third. And that's how I do it. So as you can see, it's going. It's going to be a lot faster this when I export the file. I'll put it at the end, what it looks like when it's all said and done. Okay. So I'm going to do again another example. I ate at a restaurant, so I'm going to do some editing here. I know I was eating. I was taking pictures every second and then gluing them together after that for this time lapse. So I don't need the beginning part. And then let's see how far I go at the end. Okay, so this is about a minute long. I click on this button right here, the cropping. I'm going to click on Ken Burns, and then I'm going to shrink this. Again, I want to stay larger than a fourth because it's shot in 4K. I'm going to be about this high, and I'm going to do the same thing here because I want to focus on my kid, not so much me eating, or maybe I do. But I'll change it up. I'll change it up. I can go from right to left. All right, so it's going to start here, and then it's going to pan that way slowly. Okay. And you just click anywhere outside and it already crops for you. And this is again still 1 frame per second. As you can see, it's not moving very fast, but it is slowly. Look, I'm going to put the cursor here, and I'm going to put it above my kid, and you can see he's moving to the left because it's moving from right to left. Right? And then what I want to do is speed that up. So next I go on the speed button and go custom, and let's make that I'm going to make it 400% because I want it 15 seconds as well, just for demonstration purposes. And now you can see the jump of us eating, inhaling our food, and all that good stuff. As a recap, to create a digital pan or digital tilt or digital zoom, that's what you can do with Ken Burns, but I just showed digital pan today. You import all the files that you want. Then next you would import something that would establish that the timeline would be at 24 frames per second. You choose something that you want to digitally pan with, and I chose this file here. Next would be you click here as far as cropping, and you want to choose Ken Burns effect. And it's as simple as start. You basically want to crop down, frame what you want, where you want it to start. It automatically knows it's going to start from the beginning, and at the end where you want it to end. So the end you can also resize to whatever shape and size or whatever size you want, and you click out, and there you go, you got a digital pan. Again, not too impressive when you're dealing with just regular footage. Time lapses take a long time, so when you add the motion into there, it really helps give it that effect that you're moving fairly quick. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Again, we went over how to create a digital slider or digital pan effect without having one. In this case, I used a GoPro on a stationary tripod, shot in 4K time-lapse mode. Nothing fancy here. I had GoPro take care of all the pictures, and then we use iMovie to post-process using the Ken Burns feature. If you want to produce a timeline at 720, I recommend you shooting at 1080. Then you got a little bit more leeway. But if your resolution can go up 2.7K or 4K, you have that much more room to play with as far as creating this digital pan. 3 tips I want to recommend. It's all part of the planning. First tip, definitely use a tripod. Tip number 2, make sure you have long enough. That way you can stretch it or shrink it. Make sure you capture whatever you're trying to do. So make sure you have a memory card and whatnot that's big enough. Item number 3, when setting up your pan initially, you have to think of framing. You got to think of composition. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment below as far as what else effects that you guys done with the GoPro as far as time lapses. Do you guys own a slider? What do you guys recommend? Especially for a GoPro Hero 4, 5, 6. I'm very interested in purchasing one. If you guys are new to this channel, thank you guys for tuning in. Consider subscribing. Again, I do tech tips, hacks, and drones. Tune in every Sunday for new episodes. It's been really encouraging to me and inspirational that you guys are tuning in. And I just want to say thank you very much. With this being said, I'm just going to bring this video to a close. Again, guys, fly safe, be safe, mahalo plenty.